MK. Saying you missed my hair. It's right here. I have it. I'm just hiding it. Sometimes it's just like too much of a mess. It'll just be all on my face, so I prefer keeping it back sometimes. But not always, so. Good morning, Samus. I'm doing pretty well. I mean, it's almost too early for things to have really gone that wrong, but I should be careful when I say that. Initially, I was thinking in this puzzle that I can trap the knight like this. But then they go to d6. Which is not the end of the world, but it's not what I wanted. The important thing is I have coffee. Alright, so Samus is in Eastern Standard Time. I spent a good deal of my life in Eastern Standard Time. Samantha from the recent series with the chess speedrun gave me these crackers when I was in Europe. And they're totally destroyed, so I have to kind of eat them in a really awkward way. But they're really tasty, so I'm going to do it anyway. The best move is clearly Queen B7, threatening to checkmate yourself. Rook takes F8. So Rook takes C8 might be the first move by force. I'm inclined to just start pushing these center pawns, but there's two options, and only one of them can really be right. I'm pretty confident. So, what gives? It's hard to say what really is the difference between like Rook C8, Knight C8, Queen B1, King H2, Queen B7, or like that same line but with Queen B8, or starting with Queen B1 and then playing Rook takes C8, or just, you know, taking the Rook and then pushing the pawns. So I'm looking for differences here to try to figure out which move it could be, because I overall, like, if this was a blitz game, I'd feel pretty optimistic about my chances if I just pushed any of these pawns. Thank you for the follow, PokeBear83. I appreciate your support, and I salute you. There's also Queen E3 check, but this runs into Queen takes E3, and that's pretty awkward because when you take back, Rook takes F8 is mate. So maybe it's just a full-on transition to the pawns versus knight endgame. Maybe it's Rook C8, Knight C8, Queen E3, Queen takes E3, Pawn takes E3, King F1, and C3. With the idea that after King E2 you play C2, and they cannot approach the promoting C-pawn, and the knight on C8 is stranded, like it's not able to help. I think this is the answer. Alright, so we take one of these so we don't get checkmated. We give a check so that there's no counterplay. And then we're going to start pushing these pawns. Yeah, boy, that's it. Easy. That's a wrap. Alright, so they just played G takes F5, which a good player would probably call an anti-positional move, although I don't know what that means because chess is a positional game. We play positions. Okay, what's next? It'd be nice if we didn't have a knight on C1 and a bishop on F1. It's kind of awkward. It looks like a good position for black, actually. All their pieces are on very reasonable squares. But this last move is silly. MK, they're all positions. This is a position, that's a position. Just as a positional game, we play positions. Now their queen looks a little trapped. Like bishop g5 something. Bishop g5, queen f2, maybe something like bishop f6. Or maybe rook g2. First thing. Santosh, welcome. I think bishop g5 is the most reasonable starting move, so I'm going to play it. It's just a question of how do we beat them most effectively at this point. We're not even down material, but they could get some kind of compensation because our pieces are awkwardly placed if we don't pick the best way. For instance, they're threatening knight f3. That matters. I don't think we can trap the queen in like any universe here. So probably bishop h6 or bishop f6. So what's the difference between these two moves? Pokebear got hit with 5 ads. Are you kidding me? How'd that happen? Like, can I turn that off? Alright. I, for one, hate ads. So I consider it important to get rid of the ads. Hold on. If you guys will bear with me, I'm going to see if I can turn off the ads. I don't want to hear about that ever again. No more ads on Twitch. Alright. Alright, it's got to be in settings. Does anybody know where you can turn off ads? Maybe it's under affiliate? Ad-free viewing. Okay, maybe that. No, it's only for subscribers. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out real quick. I'll be done in just a minute. I'm looking at the settings. So, Pokebear, we have the we have people on YouTube as well, so it's a mix. All right, let me just click this and see what this means real quick. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to figure this out later. I think it's this like new ad manager thing because this feature wasn't here. I just disabled it. Maybe that'll fix it. All right, I'm coming back. I'll take a look at it later. I didn't know that that would cause you to get 5 ads in a row. That's ridiculous. I don't want to ever see someone get 5 ads in a row. It's the end of the world. Alright, so anyway, we do this or this. We got options. Probably means less money for me, but that's okay. Whatever. It's not much anyway. I imagine bishop f6 is stronger than bishop h6 generally, but probably it's more important. I mean, they both look like they win a piece. Oh, there's knight g6. Could be a non-trivial decision. So if I play bishop f6 and they play knight f3, rook g7 wins the game. Hands down. It's going to be mate. So after bishop f6, they probably have to play knight to g6. I think that's just the way of the world. At that point, I could take on g7, I guess, but that doesn't seem like it's winning. So maybe there's something really here with trapping the queen. I kind of ruled it out because I calculated rook g2 and queen f3 first of all, but I'm noticing now that there's bishop e2. Oh, there's queen takes h3. After rook h2, they have queen g3, so the wild goose chase goes on. I don't think this is right. Yeah, my bishop's hanging. Maybe bishop h4, but then I think they can play queen g6, bishop h5, queen e6. Yeah, I don't see the win there anymore. Santosh is suggesting d4. Well, if you play d4, what if black plays knight f3, just threatening mate? Mate here, looking for that. You can defend the mate, like, you don't have to lose to mate in one, but this bishop is also attacking f1. So if you play like rook g2, then this queen takes f1 check. And when you take, the bishop takes. So I don't think it's d4. There's also d4, bishop takes f1. You know, there's an important thing to consider here. So if I play this move, what if they just try to trade queens? Well, no, we do win. We just take, and take here. Free pawn on b3? Psh, no way, that's not it. We have such better things to do. If we take on b3, they can take on d3 also, so it's not even really free. Well, I think it's bishop f6, and let's have to work out the details as I go. No? It's bishop h6. Could it be rook g2? That is nuts. So I just calculated this line. Let's see what the refutation is. I feel like this is more critical. Oh, here I just trade. Okay, that's funny. I was thinking only about trapping the queen, but this actually makes this variation work. The problem that I saw with bishop f6, I was kind of just like, you know, I'm just going to try it because I didn't think rook g2 was working. My problem here was that they can play knight g6. But when we throw in this move, we can deflect the queen and then play bishop f6. Okay. Why is this not like super easy? Am I in check or something? Like, maybe take this. I can take everything. Like, I can take this knight, I can take this bishop. I can throw this check. I don't know, I think it has to start like this. Now, I don't see an immediate win after queen f6. So I'm going to play this one. Okay, that's the answer. Easy. Not really a lot to that puzzle. I'm actually surprised I even got it given to me. Still just taking this one in. Like rook g8 is there. I'm not sure why I want to do it though. Oh, could there be mate? Like rook g8, king e7, rook takes, bishop takes, knight g8, king e6 only move. And then do we have something here? Wait, what am I saying only move? It's not the only move. Alright. Morning time tactics problem. Seeing the position in a weird way. That didn't make any sense. Now if I could put my rook on g8 and make them play king e7 and then play knight g8, that could be something like a checkmate, but it's illegal. Just dreaming. Knight d7 looks generally good, just because you can get rid of the bishop, and you don't have to worry about your knight getting like lost or trapped or whatever. But it's also not like a tactic answer. There's something here, something better. So, Samus is asking, do I think the majority of viewers are intermediate to advanced players or beginners? I think it's an even spread, but I think of the people who chat the most are people who are at the lower end of the range, like beginner to intermediate. But I do know for a fact that a lot of the people who watch my channel are stronger. People who play at least the under 2,000 section in tournaments. And that's based on me meeting people at tournaments to say, hey, I watch your channel, I like your stuff a lot, that kind of thing. MK is asking, I feel really out of form and have a rapid tournament tomorrow, what should I do? Well, assuming a time machine is out of the question, I think that it would be good to just do some tactics to get warmed up to the idea of like sitting for an extended period of time and solving problems at the board. But do things that are more light. Nothing really heavy, nothing that's gonna like mess up your confidence if that's an issue that you might have. And go over your opening prep, assuming you have some. But I know, MK, that you play mostly the same lines over and over again, so maybe just review those, but you probably already fine. Pokebear says that he's an unrated novice. Well, welcome to chess. I don't know how long you've been playing, but I think being a starting player is a nice place to be. There's a lot to learn, and you can make really big inroads like on a daily basis for some time. Santosh is saying about this line that there's a knight d5 check, like rook g8, king e7, knight d5 check, something like that. Yeah, this is interesting. I was looking for that too. I was wondering if I should play Well, yeah, knight d5 on move 1 doesn't make any sense, so it'd have to be on move 2, right? Like, look, rook g8, king e7, knight d5. If they take with the rook... What if they take with the rook? If they take with the bishop, you know, I'm happy. I'll play rook takes c8, and that looks totally acceptable up in exchange. And they have weaknesses to attack and so on. If they take with the rook, though, I guess we are playing... What are we playing? I'll draw arrows so we can all follow. 18 months is a pretty short amount of time to be playing chess, Pokebear. It probably feels like a long time, though. Alright, so we're looking at this one. And I'm wondering, what if they take with the rook? Now, if I take on c8 with the rook, they can play the move rook takes d3 check as an in-between move. And then there'll be a piece up, like pawn takes d3, bishop takes c8, and we lose. So after rook takes d5, it should probably be rook takes d5. But then they can play rook takes c8. I'm sorry, rook takes g8. And I think that's going the wrong way. But this is like sort of on the right track, right? Because if this bishop has to move, then we can play rook g8 and then take the rook. And that might be helpful. Anandrajan, welcome. Yeah, I got it switched up when you were on your other account, Honest Bishop, the other day. Right, so they would be up a piece, so it's not really worth considering. But the idea might work, like in a different move order. MK is playing a tournament and says that he'll do some puzzles beforehand. It's starting tomorrow, right? And his opening prep is suspicious. Yeah, I do find your opening prep suspicious. But whatever, as long as you've prepared it, you should be fine. Even if it's like a surprise weapon or something. Have you played the people at the tournament before or no? That would probably impact your opening decisions more. If you haven't played anyone there, then like if they don't know your online profile and stuff, you'll be fine. Oh, hold on. There was something with my first line. Hold on. Let me put this away. A lot of the time I get like very close to the right answer right away, but I'll wander a little bit. So here I was thinking I could take, and play knight g8, right? Now, if they play king f8, then rook d8 wins. Well, maybe it doesn't win a piece. But rook d8 is a move that I didn't consider. That's something to remember. I was thinking rook d8, and after king g7, rook takes c8 is winning. Just up a piece. But they can play rook to e8. MK, where is your tournament? Is it in Germany or what? Anand is trying to go pick up one of the B pawns, but you're not going to win the game just by winning one of the B pawns. They could give one of them for free. It'll be totally fine. Alright, there's another move that's been in my mind, like, more or less since the beginning, and it's rook d7. I didn't look at it too closely because I wanted to find something that's more, like, flash and bang, but, like, what's wrong with just playing this move, rook d7? The issue with rook g8 is that they can play king e7. That's the whole problem, the entire way. And after this, we're threatening rook g8. And if they take it, we win the rook. Well, we win the bishop, but, you know, like, the rook's hanging. That's the reason why. So that's it. I think I should pay more attention to, like, the first things I think about. I go kind of fast in my mind, just, like, seeing a lot of options all at once and then get confused. I don't know which ones to look at. That was definitely one of the first things I was thinking about. MK's going for a hometown hero in his tournament. He says it's a small German town tournament. Well, that sounds nice. I actually want to go back and play in Germany or something. I was almost in your neck of the woods, like, recently. Queen b7 resign for white. Come on, Anand. You can't play like that. This seems more likely, but it also looks like just a check. If I go here, then I lose. So I won't go there. I'll go here. Maybe queen e7 in that position. If they play rook h7, then rook d7 looks like it wins. No, maybe not. I feel like super disorganized today, the way I'm thinking. It's not so good. I pour more coffee. More coffee. The other day I did like a super long tactic session, and I was up considerably in terms of my results. Then I got very tired at the end, and I plummeted to like 24 something. And that's where we are at this moment. So even though I've gotten like a lot of these right, they're a little bit softer than the ones I'm usually solving. So I expect to get these correct. I think it's important. Well, I don't see any resource here that is really useful except for rook c7. I could probably play it as a first move because like knight g5, knight e5, they don't look really helpful. So if I'm attacking, I'm doing it like this. Now here queen e7 looks like Dewey. I thought about rook g7, but after king g7, queen e7, king g8, or even king h6, it doesn't look like I have any follow-up. Like I don't have queen f6. That was one of my ideas. So I think here I also can play queen e7 as an only move. Alright, now here I was thinking I want to play rook d7 and rook d8. But there's probably something a little bit more clever here. For instance, I have the move queen f7. That might be useful. I imagine it's not. The reason is I think after king h8, if they can play rook g8, they will be okay. So I really would like to, I don't know, deflect this rook or something, get queen e8 mate on the move, or maybe maybe chase this queen away so I can take on e6, or... Anyway, this is probably like the real puzzle. Yeah, rook h7 is the only defense. So this was all forced, definitely where we should be. If rook a7 and then rook a7, there's queen e8, but they won't take on a7. In fact, I'm not sure we have a really strong threat. Well, how much do we really need to win here, right? 3, 6 pawns, 4, 5 pawns. We're up a pawn. We could snag another pawn with rook a7. MK is suggesting queen f7 and then knight b4. I don't think you mean knight b4. You probably mean knight g5 or something. Oh, knight h4. Yeah, that's a good point. So g6 is actually a weakness. I wonder what happens if they just defend it, though. Like, queen f7, king h8, knight h4, and then maybe queen f... No, not queen f5, that's hanging. So maybe like queen g5 or queen... Yeah, maybe like queen g5. Let's pretend. Maybe queen h5, just for sake of argument. Queen h5. Well, then there's still knight takes g6. Yeah, that seems pretty convincing. I think that's probably it. Yeah, I think it does win the queen. Good spot. Alright, now here, I would want to play something like this, but the rook is guarding. That's why they played rook g1, to avoid losing the queen, but also not bother moving their queen. So, could be something like this. And then if they check, we just, I don't know, smile because we lost the game. Something's up with this puzzle. Bishop d5, pawn d5, rook f2. If they play rook g2, then we have knight g4. So they have to play king h1. Knight f3 is threatening mate. In several ways. But then queen e8, I think, wins on the spot. Like the bishop on d3 is covering h7. We don't have a flight square. So why don't we just get rid of the queen? Maybe we could play, trying to be open-minded here. So we take, and we are up a, no, we're down in exchange. Okay. I was thinking we could maybe go in for queen f2. Queen takes, rook takes, and if they play king g3, then rook f3 and pick up this bishop. Or we could just play knight d3 directly. I'm not sure which one's better. Probably rook f3. And if they play king h1, then there's knight f3. But even if we win the bishop on d3, let's see, we would be down in exchange. We would have a single pawn for the exchange. Santosh wants to play knight g4. It looks like Anna wants to play knight d3. Yeah, we'll get to those. If you play knight takes g4, they'll play rook takes g4. So I think the next thing that makes sense to look at is this one. Well, I don't know, because did I fully evaluate this? This is a crushing move if it works. Like, they go here, check, they go here. Am I missing anything? Actually, what if I just take and then play knight f3? If they play king h1, they lose, so they have to go here. And they cannot play queen f3, we just take it. Because after rook e8 check, we have rook f8. We do not lose. Oh wait, maybe this is still important. Hold on, so we take, check, they take it. Oops, they take it, check. We block with the rook, but then they have bishop h7. Oh, we don't. Yeah, we have to take it, because if we play king f7, there's rook f1. And then rook takes f8. How do we evaluate that? That's winning for white. So I think probably either I have to improve this line or play something else. So let's look at this real quick. We take. Maybe check. If they play rook g2, we take the rook on e1, so they go here. Excuse me. And then I really need this rook in the game. I could take this with check, but then they can take that with check, so it doesn't work. I think probably takes and knight f3 is close to the truth. I'm going to come back to this because I don't think any other move really makes a lot of sense. So we take and check. They have to go here. I'm sorry, they have to go here. Because if they take with the queen, then we can take and they check. We block. Wait, no, we can just play king f7. We don't even have to deal with those complications. So actually, yeah, there's only king g2, right? We take, check, king g2. This is a good sign. Okay. Now where's the next big thing? Seamus says that these calculations are crazy. Well, I think that it's important to work on these things. I don't think it just comes with time. I've met plenty of people who have been playing for a really long time and they still can't calculate for anything. It takes work. But it's really worth it because a lot of chess is calculation. It factors into literally everything that you do in chess. Even when you have some, like, I don't know, positional idea. Like I was saying earlier, like chess is a positional game. Everything's positional. But if you have some kind of like broad strokes general idea of how to play chess, you still need to back it up with calculation a lot of the time. You can't just like always play the same like secret sauce approach of chess and get good results every time. Santosh is suggesting rook f3. That would be really good. My issue is that my knight is on f3, but if I play... Oh wait, hold on. Maybe we could do it instead of playing knight f3. That could be a thing, right? We take and then just play rook f3. That looks winning. I'm like ready to play it. Oh man, it was wrong, Sag. I didn't really find bishop g6 appealing. It seemed like they could just defend this. So what gives? Can I just take it? Okay. So what's wrong with this one? Is it just insufficient advantage? Yeah, this is equal. They're not even going to take it. They'll play rook ef1. Dang it. That's obnoxious. Normally I look for things like that. Like, what if they just ignore it completely? That was a good idea, though. I wanted it to be like more forcing than it was, but this is a forcing move, right? I should pay attention to this. Here they can't ignore it. Okay. So this is a moment to pay attention to. Very close to the answer, though. Like, it was the right theme, just wrong first move. Right time, wrong mate, or something. There should be some kind of king hunt here, if I had to guess. They have a couple checks, but they're like not useful. Yeah, and on queen h7 is the first thing that I'm thinking about. I mean, rook takes h5 was the first thing I looked at, but it just doesn't work. Queen takes h5. So we have to move on from that. The other thing is rook g6, but I don't know if that really works. Rook g6 is more direct. I think after queen h7, they will play rook f8. Maybe that's not so bad either, actually. Queen h7, alright. This occurred to me first, but I also see an idea with rook g6, so... let's say I play this. I think if I can win both of these pawns, this is good. So they're more likely to play, like... let's look at something forcing real quick. Knight takes f4. No, this is just over. Okay, so when we play this, I think they have to play rook f8. The reason I think this is interesting is there might be bishop d6. But that looks so simple, like, is there a hidden defense here? Durian defense, welcome. Tactical and strategic coffee right here. This is probably a good time for me to plug my merch store. If you guys like my mug, you can have it too. I think I have a command for that. Yeah. And for the people watching on YouTube, here's the link for that as well. I think I'm going to disable ads on everything, so if you guys buy stuff and it supports me, I appreciate that. I think ads are annoying, so I'm going to just make a stand and get rid of it. At least on Twitch, because someone said they're getting like 5 ads in a row. That's absurd. Oh yeah, MK has a mug. I'm glad that you like it. Anon wants to play rook takes g6. Maybe this is what the puzzle really is. Like, queen h7 seems clearly good. It's just like, do we want to take on g6 or do we want to take on bishop d6? So I guess the other thing I want to look at is, what if rook g6? Well, I think this answers itself. My idea with this was to play queen f8 and try to invade back here, going for mate. Idea is queen f7 or queen d6, but the move queen e6 stops both of those. So I think this is the first move. Now, do I want to play this and go for the rook, or do I want to just take this pawn straight up? Great question, me. I think rook g6 hinting at rook d6 wins a pawn, but I don't know if it's stronger than bishop d6. So bishop d6 was my first inclination, so I'm going to just calculate this. It's just threatening to win the rook. Like, nothing fancy, I'm just going to take the rook. If I win the exchange, these pawns should fall anyway, I'm pretty confident. So, like, where's the secret defense? Maybe it's an attack on the dark squares or something? I think the king should be totally safe, like, whatever happens. You know, like, let's say they start checking. They go here and here. And, I don't know, they're going for some dark square hoo-ha, like, maybe they do this. And I just say, you know, I don't care, I'm going to take your rook. And then they check me. I can play king a2, like, no big deal. Queen f7 is coming up, so the best defense is to checkmate your opponent. Therefore, I don't care if they start attacking c2. What do they even play here? I think it's bishop d6. Okay, that was wrong. It was rook g6. So let's see the difference. So I said here. They have knight f4. This is a move that I was looking at, but don't I just like... Oh, my rook is hanging too. I missed that. I was like, oh, I'm just going to take this and then take here. But this rook is hanging. Alright, that was a really silly oversight. Because I even was looking for this kind of knight takes f4 thing. That's obnoxious. Rook g6 was good. So that was the critical moment. I just got it wrong. Because I missed that my rook was hanging. That's silly. Hopefully I won't do that again. Alright, so here I could go like this and then get pinned, but then I don't know if I care, because I'll just start pushing this pawn. The issue here might be that they can bring their king over. Well, no, if they go here, I support to play f8, and they really can't stop me. Like, they can throw this check, I go here, and I win. So I think if I go here, the issue would be that they can stop the promotion right away. And after king g7, they will play king e6. h4. King f5, h5, king g5, h6. That looks winning too. So I have two winning looking lines. Yeah, Durian, that was annoying. I wish they did not have that knight resource with knight takes g5. That was silly. So I stopped calculating two line, like too early. Like, that was a line that I saw like immediately when I started this. I was like, okay, that line's over. Let me see some more stuff. I have a hard time with going slowly. Not necessarily not being thorough, but like I like I'll check everything, but I just am pretty sloppy about that. I check it, but I don't check it very well. And sometimes I just don't understand the position that I'm looking at the end of my variation. Okay, so I have this or this. These are the only real options. Alright, let's say I go here. They go here. I go here. That's not working, so I think this is so far forced. I'm doing this to prevent bishop f8. Now, I don't think they have any moves that make any sense except for king e6, because if they move the bishop, then I'll get either a free move with h4, or I will promote. So they're going to play this, h4. Yeah, I think it's just winning. Like, I don't really get it. What's the difference here? If I go here and they pin this and I play h4 as well. Oh, they can play king e6. So that's the difference. So I'm playing this first. Alright, that was not hard. I was just overthinking it. King f7, not as good because, well, I don't know if I want to dwell on it too much, but they have some fortress ideas where if you if they can get their king in front of the pawn, then that's good for them. So they really don't want that. They will survive if they can accomplish that, and I think in that line they can by some nefarious means. Oh, I think the defense against king f7 and then pushing the h pawn is they'll keep the king looking at the f pawn, and when you finally push your h pawn to a dark square, they'll take it with the bishop, which deflects your king from guarding the f pawn. So I think that's the problem with that approach. All right, so what about this puzzle? We got pawns. Pawns are doing good stuff. Pawns go burr. You guys might have seen in my recent video with Sam, we were talking about rook endgame, so we started with an example where it's just 2 pawns on the 6th beating a rook. This position is not the same as that, but like I'm kind of envisioning a situation where maybe they go here and I play e6, and these pawns are already like winning the game basically on their own. You know, let's say they play like g4, we play e7, this is it, like we're getting a queen. So probably if we check, they will want to go back, but then I get e6 with tempo. They could play king e7. And then they're surviving, so probably I want to play e5, king f7, and king d6, which prevents all shenanigans. They could play g4, but e6 is checked now, but they don't have king e7, so we're gonna just saunter in there. Sachet even. Anand wants to play knight to e8. That's too slow. King e7's on the menu. In fact, I should probably not play e5. I should probably play king d6 here. Yeah, that's right. See, that was an example of me going fast, because I was like, I could do this, and then they could do this, and then this, and this, and there, and they're like going all over the place. But like, I saw the idea that they want to play king e7, but I only saw it later on as I was running down this line. So I think this is it. I could probably take that pawn and come back. I could also throw e5 check, and I'm not sure it makes a big difference. It probably does. Like if I play e5, king f5, knight takes, then rook h6 check, e6, rook takes e6. Well, even this is winning, actually. I'm not sure how they're going to really draw this position if I just snap off that pawn. But they are playing b3, so I might get stranded over here. I think it's better to start this way. Okay, now do I take the a pawn or do I play e6? I think the answer is play e6. Like, just win the game. Who cares? If they play a3, I can play knight b3 and stop the promotion here. If they play b3, I can take at this time to stop b2. And if they try to like come over with the rook to take the knight or something, I'm going to promote. So, feeling pretty good about e6. Alright, now do I really care that much? Like if I go here and they go here and I make a queen. This is probably like the kind of question that doesn't even matter. Like, of course I care, I should just take it. Why should I let them get a queen? I always have these kinds of like attention deficit type questions for myself during the game. I'm like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Yeah, endgame puzzles, I think I overperform relative to the rating that those puzzles usually have. I think they sometimes depend on some concrete knowledge. That might be why. Oh man, it's like time for me to go to work like 9 minutes ago. Alright, I'm going to have to wrap up this stream pretty soon, but let's do a couple more. I'm already late. One thing I like about today's stream is that I've managed to do a lot more puzzles than normal. When I first started this series of the like tactical coffee or tactics and chill, I was solving like 8 puzzles in like an hour and a half, and it looks like I'm doing more. I think that was one of my goals, just to solve more problems in the same amount of time. So I think that's something's good, even if the rating is like more or less the same. I don't really care about that. I don't care about that. So I kind of want to push this d pawn, but then this bishop's gonna take it no matter what. So that's unpleasant. Meanwhile, these rowdy boys are coming down on the king side. Yeah, I'm okay. Exactly. I'm already late. Let's keep doing this. But not too long. Within reason. I really strongly prefer to be on time. But at the same time, I don't really think anyone cares if I show up or not to do my job. I care. It's important, but no one's really going to notice. And I'll get the same amount of work done. I do the same amount of work as like several people anyway. Anand is suggesting bishop g1, king d2, and bishop d4. That's an interesting idea. Let's think about that for a minute. Durian cares about being late too. Yeah, I find it kind of rude to be late, but there are some situations where it's like people aren't really expecting you anyway, so it's like the lateness is only in your head. So I try not to stress too much because I'm a very high stress kind of person, and it's better not to be. Oof, that is not better. There was a light on my face and I was like, let me fix it. It's made it worse. Alright, so we were thinking maybe this. This also was on my mind. I'm also thinking about sacking this, but I think it doesn't make sense too. So maybe this check. King to somewhere. I imagine king d2 makes sense. I really don't know. Now what are we doing? Is it bishop d4? Is it bishop c5? Maybe we want to play this pawn endgame. Do we? I think it's just a pawn down endgame. Probably not good to like trade bishops. So we're still on this. And like, do we go here? At which point they could either insist on trading bishops or defend the pawn. Or do we do something else? Yeah, interrogation room effect, basically. That's true. We have ways of making you chess. Yeah, I think the reason we should do something like this is probably to attack the kingside pawns, because like we have no strength here. We don't want to trade bishops. I don't think pushing this pawn is productive, so let's say we do this. They can go here or here or here. Right? I initially said king d2 because I thought maybe they want to prevent king d3, but I'm not so sure about that. Oh, I just had another idea. What if we just take this, put it right here, and then if they play king d2, then we could play this. Kind of forcing their king to a really awkward square. All right, that's an idea. So let's say first we just do this, right? And then we try to cut across. They might play like king c2, king e4, and bishop d2. I wish I knew how to use my own chat emojis to respond to this Twitch comment. The good old like Goldfinger accent for we have ways of making you talk kind of thing. I imagine that's what MK sounds like. Just kidding, I'm just trying to stir the pot right now. It doesn't even make sense. G5 could also be a move. I'm like really grasping for something that makes sense here. G5, I think they'll play F5, but then we could take on E5, so that's actually nice. G5, if they ignore it, we take on F4. I kind of like g5 because it breaks up this advancing wall of kingside pawns. I think it's more convincing than bringing my king over. What I was struggling with here was like king g1, and let's say they comply. They don't even have to. Like, they could also play king to f3. But like, let's say they agree with us. We check. I'm sorry. King d4, king c2, king e4, bishop d2, and then maybe we. All right, here's the other thing. So without even getting to this bishop d2 type shenanigans, they could defend the pawn with bishop d6, and when I play king f4, they play e6, and that wins the game for white. So this actually steals a tempo to play f5. And so I think white is better in that case, like significantly better. And this is assuming they agree as well. Like we do this, and am I even going to attack this pawn ever again? I'm not sure what useful thing has been accomplished, because like if I start pushing this d pawn to try to justify, like I try to go here and here, they will blockade it. And I don't think we can break that blockade. And if we try to go over here, they can just protect the pawn. Or even just give it up, like they're up a pawn. You know, they can just give it away. And then we're not even winning on the queen side because we have just this one measly b pawn. I think g5 is the most interesting move right now. e6 is probably a critical test, because they're going to lose that pawn anyway. So we're looking at like g5, e6. It's about to go on e7, and we can't control e8, so we should probably take it. Now if they play f5, we can take, and play bishop e5, and then we're in business, I think. Bishop c3, maybe we play d4 and win a piece. So they would have to play differently. I feel pretty good about g5. All right, they throw a check. Of course, what else? We have to take it. f5 is there. We should not allow e6, so we take it. Alrighty, that was it. That was a good puzzle. Interesting moment there. There was a lot of stuff, and it was all like just not really convincing. But then this just works. Anan was suggesting an alternative answer, it looks like. So g5, if they play e6, he was saying just take on f4. I would take with the bishop. Yeah, Durian endgames are a tough thing. But I like them. They just highlight the like intrinsic properties of the pieces, because you don't really have much to work with. But they have maximum power because the board's totally open. Okay, I should probably go do my real life job now. But thank you guys for tuning in. Why don't we raid someone real quick? Can you guys like suggest a raid human? Someone that you guys like who's live, who's not me. I know it's presumptuous to imagine that you guys like me, but like, you know, we could hopefully do someone who's like not that big. We're gonna be a small raid anyway. Hello, Samus. Yeah, I welcome you to read a book in the server. I hope that some people join in. Alright, I'm looking for the chess category. Bang, bang. Chess. Just trying to figure out who's actually playing. Thanks, Durian. I like going over things with you guys too, hearing your thoughts. And when I say hearing, I mean like reading in the voice that I imagine you having. You know, there was a guy who claimed to be from Brazil, but I'm pretty sure he was from Italy, who was trying to get me to give him chess lessons for $5, saying that like, oh, there's nobody in Brazil who could coach me. I thought that was really funny. Alright, so Chess Hobbits is the next human on the docket. Let's raid them. I'm like showing my age trying to click this person's profile and failing. Alrighty, Let's do this. I'm going to the Twitch so I can do it, because in OBS I really can't do the raid thingy. So hold on. Prepare for the raid. /raid. Very small raid. Anybody who's on YouTube who wants to join the raid, just switch to Twitch real quick. Just Hobbit99, is that right? Alright. And we roll. Alright. It said invalid username. Oh, just hobbits. Multiple hobbits. Several. We've got 99 hobbits or something. Alrighty. Prepare to raid. Thank you guys for tuning in, and good luck with your chess. Attack.